Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Do you understand that?
No.
Something happened. I don't know exactly what. My brother's been arrested. He's being held at Rikers Island. He could get killed in there.
Sorry, we just have a client that walked in.
We good?
You get another 10 grand, your brother will get out.
Where are you? How much money can you get right now? Come on, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? What do you think I'm doing this for? I want to get him out tonight.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Lucky Dog Podcast. This is your host, Elias, and today we have got another fresh lineup for you, coming fresh hot out the ovens. Just about burnt myself. Today we are reviewing 2017's Good Time by directors Benny Safdie and Josh Safdie. After a bank heist goes awry, a bank robber spends a night trying to free his mentally handicapped brother from being sent to Rikers Island prison. So, this movie was created by the A24 company, who has quickly captured my attention, coming up on just new incredible movies that have been quite notable for my generation, specifically millennials. They've just popped out of nowhere in my book. They create independent movies, and so they're relatively low funded, low marketing. You don't hear too much about them unless they really flourish from a director standpoint or a writer standpoint or something like that. So the most recent movies that A24 has created, they've only really been distributing since, I believe, 2013. They released Spring Breakers. I believe that was a James Franco movie. I've heard of Under the Skin was really good. I did not see it, but I've heard about it. Tusk by Kevin Smith, I'm aware of it. I don't know if it did too well, but the movie was notable because it was actually shot near us, so it was pretty cool. Who else do we have? 2015's Ex Machina, directed by Alex Garland. I just reviewed the movie Annihilation by Alex Garland, and this movie, Ex Machina, created by the A24 company, put him on the map. I would not have any idea who this guy is without Ex Machina, and incredible movie, incredible. Definitely check it out. Alex Garland is a director you need to keep your eye on, just as is other directors, as I believe The Room in 2015 by Lenny Abramson. The Witch I heard was pretty scary. I didn't get to see that. Green Room I've heard was decent, by Jeremy Saulnier. The Lobster, I saw that. That was an interesting movie. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. I don't even know if I would recommend it, but it was definitely an interesting movie, and it had some high-profile actors and interesting concepts, definitely to check out. The A24 company also created the Swiss Army Man. That Swiss Army Man, another incredible movie that I had no idea would even exist. They come out with all these different types of genre movies that you are original and that you can't really compare to many things. I don't know if many people saw American Honey, Barry Jenkins' Moonlight. Okay, so here we go. So Barry Jenkins directed the famous Oscar-winning Moonlight, or Oscar-stealing Moonlight, because it took it from La La Land, or it was originally supposed to win, but they messed it up over the Oscars. So A24 has created some of the most high profile, most notable movies within the past 5 to 10 years. And so they're definitely a company you need to keep your eye on. Just the types of movies that are coming out are just really interesting and really in depth. So check a couple of them out. I've heard I saw Free Fire, that was pretty good. A lot of these are, since they're independent movies, they're really low budget, so they're not big spectacles and stuff like that. You're not getting the Black Panther, battles, and the Avengers, and the Pirates of the Caribbeans, and all these multi-million-dollar companies like Disney are not funding these small independent movies. So that's why it's good to have companies like the A24 company. So just wrapping up a couple of other movies that they've actually helped fund or create, I guess, would be the It Comes at Night. I've heard mixed things about that. Good Time, which is what we're reviewing today. The Florida Project. My goodness, that was an incredible movie. I would definitely recommend checking that out, by Sean Baker. Lady Bird. Everyone heard of Greta Gerwig this year, within the last year, 2017. The Disaster Artist. They even came out with that. They've given small films a leg to stand on, and oh my goodness, I just saw one that I'm so excited about. All right, so Bo Burnham, one of the more up and coming comedians that a lot of people haven't heard of. I remember growing up and and seeing YouTube videos of him just performing just right in front of his computer, nothing special or anything like that. And now 5 to 7 years later, something like that, I see him doing multi-million-dollar stand-up specials for Netflix. And now he's coming out with his own movie on the A24 with the A24 company called Eighth Grade, and that's just incredible in my opinion. That's just the epitome of someone really successful and really talented actually making it. And thank you A24. You've really changed the movie industry, and I'm glad there's companies like you that are bringing these types of films to light. So, on to the feature presentation. Enough helping A24 out. I think they're doing quite well with the numbers they're making. I'm real interested in a lot of that stuff. So, anyways, on to the feature presentation. We have Good Time. So, Good Time, I would say, is an incredible original look at the spiraling decline of Robert Pattinson's character and how it affects him and his brother, and honestly the people around him as well. Something I noticed right off the bat, I try not to look at trailers too often, but holy shit, I went back and looked at the trailers again before making the podcast just to understand how they were marketing it to the people. A24, I'm not really sure what they were trying to lead with, but both of the two trailers that I watched, the first one had the slow burn, and then the second one had the 80s heist film feel. With the marketing, it was essentially the same scenes, just had different cuts to them to different music. Now, the first one was not nearly as appealing for me personally. I understand that might have been what they were originally going for, which makes me think that the first trailer they dropped wasn't getting that great of reception, or something like that, from demographic marketing standpoint, or something like that. The second trailer hooked me like a fish. Like, I was in it. I was like, like, I don't even know how to describe how the music made you feel, but it was unique, and it was kind of like the 80s synth that's really popular these days. Really enjoyed that second marketing trailer for the Good Time movie. I don't understand why they did the two separate ones, because even if you did see the marketing for these two movies, you're gonna be spoiled like hell. Like, if you watch these trailers, you're essentially watching the movie cut up into about 3 minutes with the music played in the back. So A24, come on, man. Like, I love the company, but I don't want to see super spoilers going on in it. I guess I only really realized it was spoilers after watching it, because I had not seen the Good Time trailer before watching the movie, and I'm glad. I mean, I didn't want to be spoiled like it was, but it looks hype. The second one makes it look hype, and I liked it. If it wasn't as spoilery as it was. So continue on with a little bit more of the good things, just for everyone's notifications and just whoever cares about listening to spoilers, just to let you know, this is a spoiler podcast, and you're about to get spoiled on a certain plot lines. I'm not going to go through the entire movie and break it down scene by scene like some people do. I'm just going to tell you, the good, the bad, how we probably should have changed it, and maybe should you see it, is it for you? So let's work through it. The nitty gritty. The good things about Good Time. The acting. Now, I always like to talk about the acting. The acting for these people, it feels real. These feel like real people. I've never seen Robert Pattinson achieve this level of acting before. I had seen him maybe once or twice in a couple of Twilight and Harry Potter films. I had never seen him pull this type of character off, and he nails it to a T. He plays a guy named Connie Nikas, and he is he's a shit. He's just an absolute shit. So Connie is trying to take his slow brother, retarded brother, on these crazy bank heists and doing all these crazy things, and his brother gets locked up. So, talking about his brother, is that guy? I honestly thought that guy had some mental issues. Don't think I'm disrespecting the slow community or anything like that. I totally respect them, and the way this guy played someone with a mental challenge or challenging abilities or something like that, just it blew my mind, knowing right after that the brother was the editor. He's not actually slow. He's not actually he's not actually retarded. He is all cognitive function, I believe. But this guy played it to a T. He had the look down. He had the sweats down. He had the he was incredibly nervous. Like the acting in it was phenomenal, and I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. But I wish they would have kept him in the movie and in the plot, because I think they underused him. He was an interesting character. And so, continuing on with some of the good things that were appealing about the movie, the music, like I said, the second trailer puts you in where that music takes you. So the majority of the music through the movie is pretty high, high suspense, intense, like I said, it's got the 80s themes kind of going on. You can see it in the titles, which, once again, I do like the titles. I like the 80s themes, the neon, the glows that happen throughout the way the colors would bounce off of the character's face. I mean, it was beautifully shot, just the look of it alone. The cinematography, extremely original. At certain times, I felt physically claustrophobic. There's only certain movies that can really make you feel physical feelings, past being happy or sad or excited. Like, this felt like uncomfortable in a different way in certain scenes. And I, as a video specialist, or someone that prides himself on studying video and film, it was it was amazing. It was amazing how they achieved that feel and claustrophobia. I would say that it kind of felt similar to the one take wonder I called Victoria, the movie Victoria. It came out, I believe, 2015. Taken all in one take. Yeah, I would say that movie did a good job kind of getting in the faces of the individuals and capturing the emotion just as they did in this movie. So the directors, I believe, were both of the brothers. The slow brother, Benny Safdie, and Josh Safdie are the two directors, and I was blown away. The writers are Ronald Bronston and Josh Safdie. I was blown away. I think maybe they needed to take the other brother out to help with the shooting or something like that. Maybe, I'm not really sure. But I thought it was incredible. I still think that these brothers need to be reevaluated on their directorial skill, because these people, they're bringing them off the screen. Everyone on the screen felt so real and so lively, like they were actually people that lived in these houses, that these were actually people's grandmas. These were actually cops. This was actually a security guard. Like, I was blown away by the acting. So let's talk about some of the not so hot things about the Good Time movie. Essentially, they dropped the brother plot. Like I said earlier, halfway through, they grabbed the wrong guy. Now, before watching the movie, I had no idea where the hell this entire film was going. I thought it was just like a bank heist film, and they were making a getaway. Based on the marketing, they say that's just going to be the beginning of it. I had no idea going in watching it that was only the setup, and then what the actual movie was us following Robert Pattinson after that. And so, how did I feel about that? I would have kept. Well, we're going to talk about the changes I would have done in a little bit. Sorry. Let's keep on going with the bad things. I said they dropped the brothers plot, and then they grabbed the wrong guy. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a terrible thing. It wasn't a bad thing. I just say it was not the decision I would have made. Just because I enjoyed the performance the brother was bringing, and I just wanted him. I could have had him throughout the whole movie. It would have been somewhat of like a Rain Man meets Ocean's 11 gone wrong or something like that. I can't really think of a bank heist off the top of my head. Maybe something will come to mind. Just like a gritty reel. It just feels really original. Maybe like a bank heist film in today's era, but like shot 80s themed, which is kind of what it felt like, honestly. Just the thing was, they weren't always running from the cops, and I guess they were sort of running from the cops, but they weren't like actually running from the cops. The cops were never like usually within 10 feet away from, they were pretty far away throughout the entire movie. But I did like the new guy, though. The new guy's plot was so crazy. He went through these like crazy elaborate things with all his friends, tripping on acid, coming fresh out of like prison or something like that, and then he ended up just kind of getting in with the wrong crowd, and he ended up getting kidnapped by Robert Pattinson, and like just like what? I was like, what? I'm glad I'm saying Robert Pattinson right. I would have been pissed if I was saying nothing wrong the whole time. But the family that Robert Pattinson went to stay in right after he left the hospital with his quote unquote brother, who it wasn't his brother, actually it was Ray. That family felt real. It just felt real. I think they were actual real people. I think they just walked off the street and walked in their house, and they were like started filming, because that's exactly what it felt like. The young girl, she was I don't remember her name. Oh goodness, I do not see it. Crystal, I believe. She plays. Her name's Talia. Talia Webster is the girl's name, but she plays Crystal, and she was phenomenal. I hope she gets many more roles after this. Just being in a movie of this statue with someone like Robert Pattinson in it, and having the Safdie brothers behind the wheel, I think that this is going to help steer her career somewhere pretty good. So what else? I probably wouldn't have had Robert make out with her. Just she's too young for that. You can't be doing all that. We'll just lead into how I would probably change it. We definitely start off with that. I understand that you probably had to kiss her to divert the thing, but it was just a little too icky for me. I didn't like it. Second thing, Jennifer Jason Leigh. Once again, what are we doing here? I don't know if I just don't dislike her or something like that ever since Hateful Eight, but I thought I liked her in that. I thought she was just despicable in that, and I don't know, maybe she's ruined for me or something like that. But she felt wasted in this, and she was unneeded, and she just kind of was there for exposition, what it felt like, or something like that, and she wasn't in it that long at all. I wouldn't have killed the Ray character in the way that he did. Well, especially, first of all, I wouldn't have killed him that way, probably, and I definitely wouldn't have shown it in the trailer. Because if we had seen that building outside, the shot outside the building, like before he was doing all that, which I believe we do. We see several exterior shots of that building before anyone thinks about going out there. And you're like, oh, someone's going to die. You're like, oh, if you saw the trailer, and probably most people that were going to see this did, except for me, but, or a couple of people, but the majority of people would know instantly that someone's going to die if you had seen the trailer at all, or the marketing for it, which kind of bums me out. Like, come on, A24, man. It's just, I'm kind of big on the spoilers, just because the first round of watching something is a real experience versus the second time, because you're going to be focusing on different aspects of it. So first viewings are really important. I try to keep them, spoiler free, but that's why I like talking about things with spoilers, because we can talk about the nitty gritty stuff. So I'd keep the brother storyline through the movie. I think we left Benny Safdie, the slower brother. I don't know I think slow or retarded. I don't know. We'll just call him Nick, because his name's Nick. Nick is the brother that had a mentally handicapped problem, but Nick is shown kind of. I mean, clearly he's not supposed to be in Rikers Island with a whatever he has going on problem, but on top of that, he's disrespecting some of the other individuals that are in the jail, and he has no idea. He's got problems. He's got mentally handicapped problems. He has no idea what he's doing, stealing the remote or something like that, and just kind of doing his own thing. So naturally, terrible things are happening to him while he's in jail. But I mean, there's the last scene we see him is him getting like pepper sprayed with everybody in jail or something like that, and then we decided not to go back to see him until the very end of the movie. And just, if you wanted to have an emotional, like, reckoning with coming back with the fact that his brother is, I guess, in the group that he was in, I don't believe he was in Rikers Island at the time. But like, I just didn't feel the emotional connection that you needed to have him still in there, or just away from anyone. I wanted him to have just a slight more connection with Robert Pattinson, so that we could have just some sense of we were losing something. I didn't feel like we were losing anything. Ray fell off the building. Robert Pattinson's like having like his own like psychotic break in the back of a cop car, and that scene, by the way, when just zooming in on his face, it made me just crawl. I just wanted it to cut, and it just kept on like showing his face, and I think it was continuously just slow zoom on his face, and I was like, make it stop, and it was terrible. So just made me so uncomfortable. But it was shots like that made the movie worth seeing, just like from a cinematic standpoint, just knowing about that stuff. I didn't agree with everything that was done in it from a plot perspective, but it was really enjoyable. I would say let's keep going along with changing it. If I would have shot this movie, I would have kept both of the brothers' storyline going throughout, so that we weren't just sitting with Robert Pattinson watching television a couple times. There's a couple times where there were just like sitting, slower, dull moments where I didn't feel like it needed to be. It could have easily just shifted to his brother or something like that, or just shifted to a different storyline. Maybe Jennifer Jason Leigh trying to get him out. I don't know. Just there just could have been a little bit more of pacing. Editing could have been done just to help the pacing a little bit. But I think that just goes along with being young directors, and it's difficult to chop up your quote unquote video baby. You want to keep as much length and as much as you can there, and if someone says that's just a little bit too long, man, it's really difficult to just cut it out. But sometimes it has to be done just for the pacing of the story. I think it probably would have helped this one, at least. I would have liked, because the pacing was a little slow in the middle and the second and third, we'll break it into like 4 acts. The second and third act was kind of wired between Ray and Pattinson, intermingling and just discussing how they got to the predicament they're in. I just would have kind of cleaned it up just a little bit before. There was a couple times where Pattinson thought he was going to get caught, and it was exciting. Like when he was at the apartment, maybe when it was flashing on television that he had been robbing banks and stuff like that, and I believe they tried to do the same trick twice, and I was like, all right, now we've already done it once. Don't turn on the news expecting not to see your face, because we both know good and well that your face is going to be on television. One, it was on the first time 2 hours before when he was at the one lady's apartment, and then it came on again when they went into the dude's apartment at the towards the end of the movie, and he acts surprised, like his face is on the news. It's like you're watching the news, 24-hour news. It's like, and they don't have anything to say every 10 minutes, and what do you think they're gonna say? So I think it was the security guard's apartment, which is interesting because they also said something about him having a nice apartment for a security guard, which I thought was true too. I was like, wow, it's pretty nice. But I would say if you like cinema, you should check this out. This has a unique take and an original feel that I've never seen or felt before. Can't really compare it to anything. I would say if you aren't into cinema that much, you probably wouldn't like this movie that much. But like us, follow us,
before?
share us.
Is your brother okay?
Listen, I want you to come with me. Now you are gonna love it. This place where we are now can be a lot of fun if you let it. You're gonna have a good time.